Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Say hi or give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Not sure if we're live yet. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes to get some people on, and then I'm going to go through a deal analysis of a property that we actually just finished refinancing, which is exciting, and a project we just actually checked on today. Hey, Corinne, thank you for saying hi. I know people are here. It's always weird when you start off and you're like, I don't know if I'm talking to myself or if people are actually listening. We're going to go over a deal analysis of a project we just completed. We went there today. There's just like final touches essentially. We're going to make 2 of those units in Airbnb. We just finished renovating 3 units. 1 unit is still tenanted with an older tenant. So I'm just going to run an analysis on that. So feel free to ask any questions. Actually, I should post the Zoom link so people can join if anyone wants to join. Let me do that. Right. Okay. Link is in the comments if anybody wants to come and say hi and ask any questions and be present with me. If you want to just watch live on Facebook, that's also totally fine. In a second here, I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know. Love to hear about how you got financing for Airbnbs. I understand that is tough to do via anything but private. Yeah, fair. So honestly, this one, the Airbnbs are not set up yet. So we're getting the Airbnbs after the financing is organized. So that's how we get around it. Otherwise, it is very complicated. You have to show a lease if you're getting financing. It's much more complicated that way. Ideally, you get your financing situation organized. They can do Schedule A sometimes and say like, this is what it's going to rent for. And then you can go do Airbnb after you've got your financing all sorted out. So I'm going to share my screen and show some pictures of this project first. All right. Okay. So I can't see your questions right now. So I'll try to come back and check Facebook every once in a while, or maybe I'll check on my phone. Then I'll actually be able to see if there's any questions. I'm just going to pull that up before I get going. So this is the building. I may not. Technology is not fun. There we go. Now I can see if there's any comments. If there's any questions. I can hear myself speak. Okay. There we go. Now I can see if there's any comments. Okay, I might have to just check back. More complicated than it turns out to be. Anyways, first I'll show you some exterior photos. So this is a fourplex. So for context for this, so we bought this off market. We met the seller through, hey, Karen. Perfect. We met the seller through, we met actually a property manager, like a small property manager. I can't even remember how we connected with them, maybe through Facebook or Facebook. Yeah. So we connected, through with a small property manager on Facebook and offered them cash essentially for any properties that they could provide us. And so he gave us contacted the landlord and showed us the properties. For this landlord owned multiple properties. And this is the property that we wanted, but the only way we could get it is if we bought his duplexes first. So before we could even actually like go in and like look at this building, we had to sell his duplexes. So we actually wholesaled both of those. The duplexes weren't something that we were looking for at that time. So we wholesaled them to other investors to get those off that landlord's plate, and then we could have access to the fourplex. So like a little bit more complicated, a little bit more work, but we got it off market at a great deal. So 100% worth it and would definitely do it again. So it's actually a really nice building on a nice street. There's a beautiful brick house right beside the river. There's a little pathway to the river and a park over this way. So actually really nice in comparison to some of our properties are not as nice. You can see their tenants before were not all ideal. There's lots of garbage when we closed on it and whatnot, but a really nice building. This was their cucumbers kind of overgrowing, going crazy. I'm just going to take a peek now. Good. Feel free to pop in if you have any questions. These are some pictures of just the hallway between the units. This is common area. So you've got a bedroom, a 1-bedroom unit here, a 1-bedroom unit kind of over there. We have a coin-op laundry that's around the corner. You can't see here. There was actually a door that was shut and we figured it was attached to the unit right here, but it was actually just a closet that was like locked and closed. We didn't have access to. So when we actually got in, we were like, oh, it's just empty space, perfect for coin-op laundry. And similar downstairs has a lot going on also. And they also had a room that was like locked off and we finally like had to cut the deadbolt off and get in. And it was like a huge room, not like any really valuable space, but it's funny how it happens like that. And then upstairs is another 2 units. So lower front is going to be an Airbnb. I'll show you, we have some like progress pictures kind of from our contractor. So this is as they're working. This is the front of the building. Just a short one. Chat. You guys add up coin-op laundry, or do most of you do hookups in each unit? It's a good question. It depends on the unit. It depends on the unit a lot. Is there room for laundry in the building or like in the units? If there is some way we can make laundry work, then that would be ideal. We can get higher rent for having laundry there. But often there's not enough space in the units like this. These are all 1-bedroom units. And there's no way we could have fit laundry in each of those units. So in this case, it made more sense to throw in the closet for space wise and then coin-op. For sure, like if you have a 4-plex, like we have coin-op at all of our 4-plexes. We actually don't have coin-op at any of our triplexes. We have either no laundry, like we don't provide laundry and they can provide their own laundry if they want, or we provide laundry in some situations. So yeah, so you'll see some after pictures on here after. Looks much nicer. So this one's going to be the Airbnb. It's kind of just a fun, nice unit. It's got the 3 big windows here. This window is going to be changed out still. There's another window around the corner. Kind of dirty in these pictures, but you get a good idea of what it's going to look like. So in that, we're actually still adding some backsplash. We went there today and asked we're just going to add some backsplash, probably 3 rows of tile, subway tile around just to make it up a little bit fancier. This is existing drywall, so it's a little kind of rough. You can see some of the imperfections. This flooring here is kind of new for us. It's actually vinyl tile. So it's not actually tile, it's vinyl, but it looks like tile, even though it's not. That's the front unit. The back lower, so actually, we don't any pictures of the other lower back unit because that one's still tenanted. It's rented out at $550. Ladies live there for like 20 years. She smokes in the unit. Nothing nice. Upper front. So this is kind of what it looks like now. Same thing. We're going to have 3 rows of tile here going across subway tile. You like the black finishes, same. Everything looks pretty much all the same in all of our units, except for the cabinet space and the layout. Same paint color, some countertops, some tiles, flooring. This is what it looked like before. Very colorful. And then we gutted everything, had to kind of take out, there's a lot of like little walls, I just can't really see in the photos, that we kind of just removed to make a little bit more open space. For electrical, you can see they took all the like bottom section in to do the wiring. Sideways photo. So you can kind of see the process there. I'll show you one more unit. Back. So this is what it looks like now. So you'll see in the other pictures probably, this actually was the kitchen, which made no sense because it was smaller than the bathroom. So we swapped the kitchen and bathroom position. So previously you walked in and it was like, there was a fridge right here. This whole space was fridge, and then stove, sink. There was essentially no counter space, no room at all. Made no sense. So now it's just a small bathroom, but it makes way more sense as a bathroom than it does as a kitchen for sure. So you can see here, this is where the bathroom was, this whole space. So still not huge, but makes a lot more sense as a kitchen. Living rooms, bedrooms. You can kind of see this again. So we actually had to move like some plumbing. There's a stack there. But something I would definitely encourage is like take all of these photos, get your contractor to take all these photos. It's super helpful for your refi to say, hey, look at everything that we've done before and after, put a significant amount of work in here. Also for your own like satisfaction to go and look at it, sharing on social media, which is maybe where you're finding deals, raising money, growing your social media that way. Super helpful to have all of these photos. Alrighty, so you get the idea. It was rough. Now I'm going to take you to the analysis. So again, if anybody's on Facebook, I can't see you guys without checking in. So I'll try to check every once in a while. Otherwise, come and join the Zoom. The Zoom is in the comments. So I'm going to go up. Okay. So we bought this property with commercial financing with Libro. We got the purchase price for $315,000, which was like a really great deal, super cheap for fourplex in Chatham. We got 70% loan to value because it had low rents. We had like, they were all about $550 per unit on purchase. So mortgage is $220,000, our interest is 2.69, not as great as the A lenders some of you guys are getting, which is awesome. About almost $100K in down payment down, 25-year AM. So we've got our mortgage payment, property tax is about $145, insurance. So property tax is pretty cheap actually. Insurance $150, which is pretty good too. Gas, we have 40. That's probably not accurate. Let's say, we'll average 150. Or no, because since we have radiator heaters. Joe, what are you thinking for gas? 100? You can hear me. Anyways, electricity and water, we've got 225, 5% management fee. So that's going to vary depending on location, property manager, how many, like what you have to offer. Like 5% is definitely on the low side. You may be like 7 to 9%, depending on a lot of things. Rental water tanks. So we actually had a rental before, but we have gotten rid of that since. maintenance, repairs, vacancy. So we're calculating 5%. Now that's kind of low, I would say, overall, but because we're renovating all of these, like 3 out of the 4 units are going to be renovated, 5% is fair. If it's on purchase and you're calculating, it's like maybe this could actually be higher. Let's say 10% to be safe on purchase, because likely there's going to be issues on a regular basis with 4 existing tenants that have been there for a long time. Snow on the lawn, we've got $60 a month. Okay, so then you can see down here, our closing costs are like, so our down payment is $94,000. We spent $225,000 on renos, refinance about $3,000. What we don't have here is like lawyer fees and land transfer and whatnot. So we'll add that. So what you can actually do, you can just, if you're not sure what land transfer is, land transfer tax calculator Ontario, you can just search it. Rate Hub has one on here. You're going to enter the amount and the rate changes based on your purchase price. Toronto is higher than everywhere else, so that's the only reason that's on there. So yeah, super cheap land transfer actually. So that's right. Oh, yeah, super cheap. So we'll add 3,200 there, plus closing costs for lawyers. Here we go. Renovation budgets 225, refinance good. So cash for keys. So we paid 12,000 to get the 3 tenants out. So we closed the property with all 4 tenants in. We worked with the property manager to help get them out after closing. So that cost us 12 grand there. Holding costs. So this is my total fees that I'm paying on a monthly basis minus the 550 we're getting after all of these people left. So we have 1 tenant paying 550, other 3 units were vacant. So it's costing, let's see, it costs us about $1,500 a month to hold the property. And the renovations took 5 months to get all of that done. So at this point, we've got about almost $350,000 into the deal between mostly renovation, but your down payment and all that. Our new rents. So we still have the one for 550. The 18 and 18 is on Airbnb. So that's if we rented out them all out like this, they're all 4 of them are 1 bedrooms. So we're getting $1,295 on our 1 bedroom plus gas and hydro. That's like a nicely renovated unit, like the pictures I was just showing you, but on Airbnb, we're predicted to get about 1,800. We have other 1 bedroom units in Chatham that like on average 1,800 is pretty fair. So, and then about $60 in rental income is pretty average a month for our 4 plexes also. So we have that income in. So it went on purchase from about $2,200 to $5,500 a month in rent. We just got a appraisal back last week. It came in at 890, which is amazing. That was definitely higher than expected. Of course, when you're running the numbers, we know the market is crazy wild right now. Run the numbers based on today's comps. If you get better, because the renovation took 5 months for it to be completed, that's a bonus. But we didn't expect 890 at all when we bought it. We maybe expected like 650 is what maybe seemed reasonable, but 890 is definitely a cherry on top. So our new mortgage is 667. We're getting 75% loan to value now because we have better numbers. So we spent almost 350, but we are pulling out 447. So the trick is because this is with Libro, we have multiple refinances happening. Libro doesn't love that they're like giving us a bunch of money for no good reason. So we can prove and say, hey, we spent about 220,000 or 225,000 on renovations. They're good to like pay back renovations. They ask, what are you doing with the rest of the money? Okay, the rest of the money, we are buying a 12-plex. So the rest of the funds are actually going to be directed directly to closing on a 12-plex. So we actually aren't getting cash in hand. So something to be aware of and how that's working. My headphones aren't working, so it's fine. You're good. Jeremy's just washing dishes, but I'll see if I can get my headphones to work. There we go. Okay. So yeah, our new rate has gone up a little bit. As you guys know, for our rate, we're now at 2.9, 25-year AM. And then cash flow. So this was cash flow pro forma, like pre-refi. So we had 150 cash flow previously at those rates. That's why we had our 70% loan to value. Of course, we have mortgage pay down and appreciation, but those you don't really see until later on. So make sure you definitely cash flow. Now we're cash flowing about $1,100 a month. So you can see after refi, we have a negative return on investment because we got all of our money back and more. So again, that's not something we had planned on. Lots of people are like, oh, there's no perfect burrs. Like we found this deal off market because it was great, great price. Things have changed definitely. Yeah, chat. Nicely done. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we're definitely super happy with this one. Happy about how the building looks in general. Just on the outside. And if that one tenant wants to leave, that would be amazing. We could actually go back, and that's something I would maybe budget in your numbers is like, how much can you afford to pay a tenant to leave? Because people know rent is expensive. Like $3,000 may not be realistic. $5,000 may not get them very far. Even $10,000, like 1 year rent gone. How do they survive in the future? So like maybe you budget in, like we still have $100,000 after, obviously things have changed, but at this point we can look at it and say, okay, we made $100,000 from this deal. We can still afford to pay that tenant. We're not going to pay them $100,000. We could pay them $20,000, still have $80,000 left and increase the rent. It's a potential. So obviously our cash flow is good right now. The tenant's not causing any issues. We already refied, so there's not like a strong desire to do it right now, but potential. That's something I would just run your numbers in, like worst case scenario, how much can you afford to pay rent in cash or pay cash for keys, and your numbers still work. Yeah. So that's that one. We can definitely come on and do some more analysis on some more deals that we're doing. I don't have everything like organized like this to show you right now. But do you have any questions? Corinne, is there anything you wanted to chat about? No. All right. Well, that is my deal analysis, 135 William Street North. Off market is the way to go. I know everybody's like crazy freaked out about all these prices, which I get. They are totally nuts. I shared one on Instagram yesterday that our first primary residence house sold for $800,000. We bought it in 2017 for $195, sold it in 2019 for $375, and it just sold like 1 day ago for $800. Same exact house that we sold, like same paint, same barn board that we put up, like everything's exactly the same. So I get it. Deals are nuts. On market. The key is on market. Focus your time and energy off market. It's my biggest advice. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, keep posting any questions. If you or anybody else wants to come and go live and share something like this, or like, or have a deal that they're interested in and want to run the analysis because they're not sure, like we could do this live on Freedom Builders for everyone to see and do like a live coaching call with anybody on here also. All right. Okay. Have a good night, Corinne. Thanks for coming on and joining. Oh, sorry. Can you explain the Schedule A? Okay, yeah, so some banks will essentially make cost you a little bit and they'll just do like a market analysis. So like similar to an appraisal report, somebody's going in and saying, based on all my research, your property is valued at what? Somebody's going to go in and say, based on all my research on rental markets right now, 1 bedrooms are renting for this amount at a similar value or similar quality to your property. So someone will just go in and like basically look at what your property is and tell you what they think it should be rented at based on the quality and the market and whatnot. In some cases, yeah. And in our situation on purchase, it was already tenanted. On refi, we didn't have the tenants in yet. So like those units are vacant. That's good. No worries. Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay. Take care. Night, guys.